All right, good afternoon.
Hello.
All right, this is a meeting of the Ethics Board of Wednesday, March 10th, 2021. It's after 2:30. It's 2:35. We'll begin our meeting. And this afternoon, I will be letting you know that the board may need to close some or all of this meeting to preserve the confidentiality mandated by the Ethics Code or is otherwise authorized by the State Open Meetings Act. Likewise, upon adjournment of the open session, the board may reconvene for an administrative session to discuss non-public administrative functions of the board. Furthermore, we'll let you know that per the Open Meetings Act, the board discloses that it adjourned its virtual open meeting on February 10th, 2021 to enter into an administrative session at approximately 3:39 p.m. All board members were present and members discussed administrative matters, including complaints and advisory opinions. So regarding we'll say hello to everyone. We're glad you're here. We'll go ahead and talk about the written minutes from January 12th and February 10th of this year. Have they been circulated? Is there any discussion?
Nada.
Okay. I move that we approve both the January 12th and February 10th, 2021 written minutes of the public meetings. Do I have a second? Thank you, Donna. All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, so the minutes are approved. Moving along to the director's report.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve, and hello, everyone. A couple of metrics updates for the public session. As far as trainings go, we held one ethics training in February with 53 attendees. That was quite well attended and continuing to get the word out there about trainings. We have 2 live trainings scheduled in the coming months, one on March 25th. We have 45 people registered so far, and one on April 26th, and registrations are coming in for that one. So our idea is to have at least a few live trainings through the year, and then we're getting really close to finishing up the online training module, which will be interactive and will be with help from the DHR, Department of Human Resources Education Division. They'll be helping us put that online, and so employees can take that at their leisure if they can't make one of the live trainings.
And how are you inviting people for the live training?
We have, oh, sorry about that, I heard feedback. It's on our website, so if somebody goes to the ethics training tab of our website, they can register right there. Mara set up a really user-friendly way to do that, and then they get confirmation from us and a link to attend the live meeting. And then of course it's all part of the flow of people learning about the ethics requirements, that they're now getting notice of ethics requirements, and other communication. So that's how they are sort of told about the trainings even in the first place.
Good.
Moving on to our ethics help desk, we've received and dealt with 71 help desk requests in February. 7 of those were from lobbyists, 5 were concerning gift solicitations, 30 were about financial disclosure statements and those requirements. 19 were sort of more substantive ethics, informal advisory inquiries, and then 5 had to do with training, and 5 had other sort of administrative components. So, Donna, I think you mentioned this last time, that the more contact we have, the more sort of help desk matters we get, and that's as it should be. And so far in March, we've already dealt with about 30 help desk matters. So.
Yep. So your numbers are staying up, but your lobbyist numbers were a little bit down, which means you had more employee requests. So that I expect questions and calls from lobbyists. But I'm glad to see that the employees are calling. So that's good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think some of the downtick in the lobbyist was last time we were dealing with January requests, and the lobbying final reports were due. When was that due date, Mara?
January 30th.
Yeah.
Or January 31st.
So now the lobbying requests that come in have more to do with sort of routine registration matters. And then one last update from me. I know I mentioned the notice of ethics requirements that we've pushed out to all of the agencies, and they're giving them to new employees, part of the onboarding process now, which tell new employees the various requirements of the law. We've received 14 of those signed notices from new employees, and then some of the other requirements. 14 conflicts affidavits have been sent in from officials who've started, and 2 pre-appointment disclosure statements from board members. The pre-appointment disclosure is a process specifically for board members where if they have something that might count as a conflict of interest, they can disclose it in advance to the appointing agency and still be appointed.
Very good, very good.
And Mara has a couple of updates on financial disclosure, gift solicitation, and lobbying.
All right, well, hello everyone. So we'll just start with financial disclosure statements. So according to the law, each agency has to send the ethics board a list of their required filers for that year. So in early February, Jeff and I sent out requests to all of these agencies asking for those lists. We've received 45 back, and we're still waiting on 4 more, but the agencies were really responsive with sending those lists. And then moving on to gift solicitation reports, we received 2 final reports. So that means 2 gift solicitations expired and we received their final reports. 1 new application, which we will discuss momentarily. There are 2 gift solicitation campaigns with outstanding reports. The coordinator of those gift solicitations is no longer with the city, so these are from early 2020. So we're working with the Baltimore Civic Fund to account for those gift solicitations. And then we have 1 gift solicitation campaign which had submitted a final report, and they're going to resubmit their final report because it wasn't cumulative. So that is everything that's happened with gift solicitations. And then the last topic is lobbying. So during our last ethics board meeting, the board agreed to fine or I would say to charge the late fees to 4 lobbyists for late lobbying activity reports. We received 1 late fee, and the other 3 are due by March 15th. So hopefully our next meeting, I will say that we've received all those late fees. And those
Fantastic.
are all those updates. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you both, Mara and Jeff. And do we have any old business today?
None that I have on the agenda.
Yeah. Arnold, Donna?
Yeah, no. I want to. Well, let me hesitantly raise a question or a matter related to old business. I'm sorry. The Greater Baltimore Board of Realtors. No. I'll start a different place.
Hey, Arnold.
Yes, sir.
Can you step? Are you using a mic?
No. Well, there's a mic in my laptop. Is it too loud?
Yeah, maybe we can back up a little bit.
let me try to lower the volume. Give me a second.
Okay.
Yeah, it's coming across kind of loud. Yeah.
Is this better?
Better.
Put the volume on my sidebar. So if I need to change it again, just tell me and I'll be glad to change it.
Sounds great right now.
Great. Okay. The Real Estate Commission for Maryland has collected fines for time immemorial, for a long, long time. But at some point a few years ago, they lobbied, I guess it was the legislature, and the legislature approved approved a request for the Real Estate Commission to retain the revenue from those fines for use for its operating funds. I kind of think it could icky for us for the Board of Ethics to benefit from the fines we collect, but it seems like something we do in terms of something we call for, that we should be able to raise funds that we can use for a budget. Trust me, I don't like picnic. I'm not asking for that for self-serving purposes. I assure you. I'm just thinking having a budget for the board would not be the worst thing. Because I don't know what other mechanisms are guaranteed that will raise funds for maintaining our staff, for anything that requires an outlay. I don't know, what the mechanism is for refreshing each year's budget. And so having something where we could generate it ourselves would not be the worst thing. But I suspect fines would be icky, because then we would have a motivation to levy fines, and we don't want that. That would be something that would be concerning, and we don't want to have that, give that appearance. So I just wanted to just raise it lightly, just for anyone's reaction, which means Donna's.
Well, Donna and I both can react to this, because shortly before you joined the board, Arnold, Lou Pearson did quite an analysis of the various jurisdictions, the fact that we're the only large jurisdiction in Maryland without an ethics budget. And so there's a long way to go. And this is a big, big piece of business that I do think come budget time, perhaps we need to get together and perhaps discuss that in great detail as far as the approach. As for, in general, as for tacking a specific, say, a late fee that we retain, I can tell you that the agencies that are much bigger than the ethics board, they're required to turn over all of their funds and revenue to the general fund. And so it's a big issue to tackle, but I'd love to hear what Donna has to say about it, because we learned that we have a long way to go compared to other jurisdictions.
Okay.
Yeah, that's basically it in a nutshell. I really don't have anything to add. It is what it is.
What I'd like to add is that I saw Lou Pearson's testimony before the city council before COVID, and she made a compelling case, and she slightly shamed the council by saying that other jurisdictions around had a budget, and that this jurisdiction, which is much more populous and had more employees, did not have a budget. And I think as a result of that, one of the councilmen who we've had done some business with proposed to give the Board of Ethics a budget, which is what I think may be paying Mara and our staff. Didn't mean to single you out, Mara. I was going to say both people, but I changed my mind. Sorry. So sorry. Anyway, the point is that Judge Fogelman, I'm not so sure. No, I like offering court judges, and so I have to call you Judge Fogelman, right?
That's very kind. Thank you.
Okay, all right. But I think waiting until budget time to discuss that is a mistake. It's too late. I think if we could, isolate some time or dedicate some time, is a better word, way prior to that to discuss it, to ponder it. If we can't do anything, fine. But I think that we're in a position to at least propose something to the city council and the mayor, and that in the absence of that, nothing's going to happen. And I'm not money greedy. I'm not money hungry. I got my money. I don't, but it's just
Arnold. For years at the company, there was no isolated budget for ethics. Then it became very similar to what we have now, which is dedicated resources were assigned, and in a sense, that is a budget. because they're being paid to support the board. The next step, which we did eventually get to, was a dedicated line item for ethics and compliance. But that came because there was so much expectation on training and road shows and supporting investigations where we had to pay third parties to support the function. So if there was a financial investigation, we'd have to pull somebody out of their rate pool from business management and pay them to conduct an investigation on a separate line item, which may have been, unallowable for government terms. Right. So I guess what's most important to me is, are we getting the support we need? I didn't believe so in the beginning. I do believe so now. There's nothing I'm wanting that I don't have right now. Now, originally it was supposed to be 3 people, and I don't know if that's still the case because I only see Mara and Jeff at the meetings, and that's really all I need to see. The third entity was an investigative resource. So I don't know if that ever came about, or if we have a dedicated investigator, or we're getting support out of the IG's office somehow. But there's really nothing that I feel we're lacking right now by not having a separate line item budget. What we do need to focus on, and we're just beginning it this year, is okay, let's keep the metrics. Let's start with the tools to show here's how far we've come, here's what we can't do. If you pay for it, we could do it. I just don't think we're there yet.
Okay, well, Donna, I thought that was well said, and I'm thinking though that a couple of things. One is that I'm unclear about continuity. I'm unclear. In the time that I've had the privilege to serve on the board, we have come close to toes, and maybe stepped on some toes a little bit. And the toes are the toes of people who have some bearing on funding the IG's office and therefore indirectly funding us. I think in a matter of, at some point, those entities might say, we're not sure we need to. We're money's tight, and we got to cut funds. And so they could look at the ethics board as a way to cut some money. I love it that we have this incredible staff we have. If there's a third entity, a third person, great. The 2 we have are outstanding, no question about it. We are blessed. But I don't know what provision there is for that continuity. Maybe Isabel knows and can speak to that. Not too necessarily to us. Maybe she'll explain it to Jeff what the big plan is, and maybe he in turn can explain it to us. So that's one thought. And I was thinking that you started out by talking about at the company. I'm thinking that your function there prevented I would have thought helped prevent the company from getting into litigation or challenges to its reputation, which might preclude doing business with entities like the federal government or other entities. And so it was critical to keep the nose, have a clean reputation for the company that you served so faithfully for all those years. And that I would have thought that they would have safeguarded that mechanism, because you were the one to keep everybody saying we can do business with them without any misgivings. I would have thought. But bottom line is,
I don't think having a budget though protects you from being cut.
Okay.
What protects you from being cut is somebody recognizing the value in what you provide. B, it being required by some statute or regulatory provision, and or C, having a big enough presence that they don't want to take you on. And I don't mean that in the sense of narcissism or power or anything like that. So that's why I said I think we're building that and measuring and documenting. And I really don't I don't think we can worry about what if they cut us. Okay. I do empathize with stepping on toes and putting yourself out there. I'm retired, so I don't worry about that so much. You all still have a career, and maybe, you know, that's a bigger issue for you. If it comes to the point where they want to cut funds or things like that, then you make the tough decision of I'm stepping down because you're not supporting this, and hopefully, you know, we don't get to that point, but I don't see a budget or a line item protecting from that.
Okay, I feel you. And I don't want. The point is, I wanted to raise it. I'll raise it again. Trust me, I will.
That's okay.
But you all have given it some time in this meeting, and that's enough. I don't want us to labor over this. Belabor this matter. The fact of the matter is, I'm not convinced that having our own budget would be a bad thing. The question is how that would happen and what we would do with it. But I'm not convinced it would be a bad thing. And so bottom line is we've done it. We talked about it today. I wanted to raise it so it'll be no shock when it comes up again. Thank you.
No, but tomorrow, for example, and again, you need the tools and the information at your hand to be ready for this. But tomorrow, let's say something happens and a decision is made. Online training didn't cut it for this subject. We need in-person training. Jeff, you need to train everyone in person on conflicts of interest ASAP, effective immediately. Jeff's got to be ready to come back and say it's going to cost X to do that. This many people, this many hours, this much money. And that's what I'm saying. We're leading towards knowing what that's about. With the finances right now, I've got to tell you, as a citizen, I'm upset every time I hear they're adding more people or proposing more raises. Because to me, we're in survival mode. So I would not feel comfortable asking for more when I don't know what I do with it right now.
It's not. Let's get clear now, Donna. We're not asking. I wasn't proposing that we ask for more from the city budget. I was proposing that we possibly give less to the city budget, and retain more for ourselves. And the judge sees a merit in that. Just so you know, it's 2 against 1 right now.
No.
It's momentary, and I was just kidding. I'm sorry. Okay.
No, I just know that there are agencies that quote unquote used to turn a profit. And so they were a little sad that they had to give their revenue to the general fund. But that's, so yeah, it would be an uphill battle, that's for sure. But it's an interesting conversation and one that deems worthy of much further and complex discussions.
Right.
Oh, did I miss that part of the conversation? You're saying when we get money from a fine or a penalty, we should be able to keep it?
Oh yeah, that's what he led off with.
Oh, I'm sorry. No. I do not agree with that at all. I think it goes in the general fund. We don't want to become incentivized or seen as having our own conflict of interest for levying penalties.
Well, I did actually say that. You may have missed it. That's okay.
I did. I missed it. I'm sorry.
No. What I said was that we might look bad proposing to keep fines because it would look like we were being motivated to levy fines. I did say that. I thought that there were other things that, like, I think that the lobbyists pay some things, not fines, but they pay fees. And some of these fees, therefore, are not tied to measures that we have decided upon. and that some of this revenue might benefit us or the IG's office for that matter. I'll play dirty pool and say that. So, but again, we've taken a moment, and you see that I'm concerned about this. We don't have a full ethics board yet. When we have a full ethics board, that may be a different situation. And when Steve gets appointed to a judgeship and has to leave, then there'll be a different company. No problem. So we're good. We're good. Thank you for giving the matter this much time. We're good.
Very interesting stuff. Yeah, I think it's better to walk by than to try to sneak by sometimes. It's more obvious.
That was a good room. Try the thing. That was great.
Yep. So, is there anything else? Old business?
No. Mara to teach us how to fuzz out the background.
For real, yeah. But at least go virtual Caribbean or something. So, yeah, I guess it's time to move into new business. So we've got the Office of Sustainability's findings and the fundraising that is going to go into this with the Office of Sustainability. It's a $50,000 to $150,000 proposed donations. And fiscal sponsor is a civic fund. Anybody get a chance to look at Director Ryer's proposal? Is there any discussion on the solicitation request from the Office of Sustainability? It looks like this is something that would have been done last year.
Yeah.
So it's a year late, but not too late, maybe.
Yeah, I didn't have any questions or concerns about it.
Nor do I.
All right, wonderful. All in favor of approving the solicitation request from the Office of Sustainability, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay. I think that's going to wrap up our open meeting. And so I move that we adjourn. Is there anything else before we adjourn the open meeting? Yeah, I can't think of any. Okay, I move that we adjourn the open meeting. Second.
Second.
All right, and all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. We're adjourned.